further ado, please join me in welcoming the director of Fight or Flight, James Madigan. Congratulations. And now we have star Josh Hartnett. Congrats. And we also have star Katee Sackhoff. Congratulations again, everyone. This is something else. Again, I have so many questions. First one that popped in my mind came from your director's statement, though, because I love hearing about how story ideas can evolve. And one of the first things that I read was you said, as soon as I met Lucas on the page, I had a strong vision of what I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
And then these hopes meet reality when the part is cast. So can you maybe give us a little sense of who the character was on the page, who you wanted him to be, and then what makes him uniquely Josh?
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. It's not that it was drastically different. I think there was just a certain attitude that we wanted him to have. I think a lot of times when you get action scripts, and this, I mean, all of us adored this script from the second that we read it, but everybody wants to make, John Wick on a this, and John Wick on a plane, and John Wick goes to Bangkok, or whatever it is. And, the attitude that we wanted to give him, you can't make John Wick unless you're Jack, and you shouldn't try. And, the attitude that we were talking about here, about someone who was sort of less perfect, we were talking about kind of like anti-heroes, people like John McClane or Indiana Jones. When he gets hit, you feel how bad, he gets hit once and he falls down and he doesn't get up, and to really make sure that we could sort of track how injured he was getting, and also how down and out he was. We probably started him at a lower ebb, and the rest of that statement is basically like, as soon as I met Josh, we talked for hours, and it was like, oh my God, this is perfect, and that was the thing that really guided us through a shoot that was, you can't do everything that's on the page, and when you have to call an audible like that, the fact that we were so locked into the guy he wanted him to be really helped guide us through a really chaotic situation.
This is amazing. And then we talked about it some more, and he just had such a vision for what he wanted it to look like that I just jumped on board immediately. He was so specific, and that's always a wonderful thing. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, no, totally. James is very specific, and I feel like our conversations always led back to character when we first got together, and not so much about set pieces, but unless it was in reference to how the character was going to be, mentally addled in some way or another, or physically kind of hamstrung. And I thought that was a really nice way of going about it. You said to me in one of our first meetings that you wanted to be like a musical. Remember that? And that you wanted, you said the best musicals, the old-fashioned musicals, like the characters change through the songs. So at the beginning of the song they're one way, and by the end of it they've had a transformation, and that the same thing has to happen in each fight. And I was like, yeah, that's storytelling, right? And that's what it should be. It shouldn't just be this epic blowout, and then by the end of it, the same character's just standing there the way they was at the beginning. There's a lot that has to happen. And so, I was super excited to have this script to begin with, because I'm in my 40s. I'm in my 40s.
Can you believe it?
I haven't done a stunt since I was 29. We were just talking about this backstage. So to have anybody trust that I could pull this stuff off was very exciting, and then to have it also be so ambitiously realized and taken from that particular tack of character first, just felt like an ideal sort of situation for an actor. Any actor would love to do that.
Yeah, when we, the first time we talked, Josh said, well, I really want to do all my own stunts, and I was like, well, that would be amazing, but you know, it's a very tight schedule, and we didn't really have much prep, and that's usually when you would figure that kind of thing out. And I was like, I really, really hope that happens, but this is really, really hard. 100% of the stunts that you just saw, Josh did. He did every single fight.
That's very, very kind. It is, we had an amazing stunt team, and these guys helped me every step of the way. They made me look really, really good. And Clayton, who was he was like my go-to, my stunt, as on the screen stunt double, but also just there to kind of guide me through everything. He would work with the rest of the stunt team to find ways, and work with me to find ways to make these things happen so that I could actually do them, which you know, you don't always get that sort of bespoke sort of situation, but yeah, I was able to do them without dying, so that was
But you're downplaying that. Like, that is the amount of work that you took on to be able to do all of that fight coordination. And granted, there was a team around you for sure, but like, that is so hard to do, especially with your dialogue, especially staying true to like the arc of the character.
Yeah.
That is hard, you know, and you did amazing. Yeah.